Cop stories in and around Aylesbury on Aylesbury News. Wheelpower celebrates 70 years of Paralympics. 70 years of Paralympics movement have been celebrated in Aylesbury. On Saturday, 29th of July 2018, Stoke Mandeville Stadium, wheelchair sports charity Wheelpower and the National Spinal Injuries Centre celebrated the 70th anniversary. They hosted an archery competition at the stadium and unveiled a memorial to celebrate the special occasion. The event recreated the first archery competition for 16 disabled people, the first Stoke Mandeville Games, and involved patients from the National Spinal Injuries Centre, Stoke Mandeville Hospital, and other paralysed men and women. The first sports ever at Stoke Mandeville was organised by Sir Ludwig Gutman, founder of the Paralympics movement, on the 29th of July 1948 to coincide with the opening ceremony of the 1948 London Olympic Games. Gutman, a neurologist who founded the National Spinal Injuries Centre in Stoke Mandeville, and Wheelpower, believed that sport was the method of therapy, using it to help build physical strength and self-respect for his patients. The Stoke Mandeville Games became an annual event with new sports added each year, with teams from around the country taking part. In 1952, ex-servicemen from the Netherlands took part in the first international Stoke Mandeville Games. In 1960, the International Stoke Mandeville Games took place in Rome. 400 athletes from 23 countries competed in 13 sports, and this was later recognised as the first Paralympic Games. Today, around 5,000 athletes from more than 150 countries take part in over 600 events in 28 sports at the Summer and Winter Paralympic Games. Following Sunday's archery competition, a memorial celebrating 70 years of the Paralympic movement was unveiled in the heart of the stadium. The memorial consists of a variety of images taken over the 70 years. Wheelpower Chief Executive Martin McElton paid tribute to Sir Ludwig Gutman. 70 years ago, Sir Ludwig Gutman changed the world for disabled people. He was a pioneer. He believed in the importance of sport for rehabilitation, and he sparked off inspiration, grew, and eventually became the Paralympic movement. Wheelpower is proud to celebrate the incredible heritage of Stoke Mandeville and continues Sir Ludwig's legacy, providing newly paralysed men and women with a chance to transform their lives through sport. It is a wonderful place to work, and I am delighted to join everyone to celebrate today's special anniversary of the first Stoke Mandeville Games. Teenager jailed after acid attack in High Wycombe. A teenager has been jailed for an acid attack in High Wycombe, which is thought to be the first acid killing in the UK. The 19-year-old Exenol Webster has been jailed for 17 years over the death of Joanne Rand, who suffered burns as he threatened another man with a bottle of sulfuric acid. She had been to visit her daughter's grave when she was hit with the high-strength corrosive substance on the 3rd of June last year. The 47-year-old nurse was sitting on a bench in Frogmore when Webster was trying to steal a bike from another man. He pulled out a bottle containing the acid from his satchel during the confrontation, which the other man knocked out of his hand and kicked away. The mother of 3 felt the liquid land on her and screamed in pain. She ran to the nearby branch of the KFC for help, and to splash water over herself. Reading Crown Court heard Mrs. Rand suffered painful and disfiguring burns to 5% of her body and received treatment for her injuries at Stoke Mandeville Hospital. She died 11 days later from multiple organ failure after contracting septicemia due to the acid burns. Webster of West Way in West London fled the scene on the bike he had taken from the other man, put on a balaclava and retrieved the bottle before disposing of it. Leslie Bates, prosecuting, told the court he pleaded guilty to manslaughter in April during his murder trial and also admitted possessing an offensive weapon, namely acid, and pleaded guilty to a charge of affray. Exnealer was sentenced to a 20-year extended sentence, a 17-year custodial sentence, plus a 3-year licence period at a hearing at Reading Crown Court. 9 members of Mrs. Rand's family were in the court for Tuesday's sentencing. The victim's sister, Lynn, earlier described to the court how Mrs. Rand's 2 children watched their mother die as her condition deteriorated with every passing day. The day before Jo died, I will never forget the look in her eyes when she asked me, "Am I going to die?" She said her sister's death had left a massive hole in our lives before she turned to Webster and added, "You did this to us. Whatever sentence you get will never be enough." Mrs. Rand's daughter revealed she struggled to cope with the loss of her mother, who she said was also her best friend. "I don't understand how someone can do something so heartless and evil." Brendan Kelly, defending Webster, said his client was sorry for what happened and did not intend to cause anyone any harm, and had apologised to Mrs. Rand's family in a written letter. He has a troubled and violent background in which he himself has been abused. Senior Investigating Officer Detective Chief Inspector Nick Glister of Buckinghamshire Full CID said, "An attack of this nature in which acid is used as a weapon is always likely to lead to life-changing injuries. In this case, tragically, it led to Joanne's death." Joanne did not know her attacker, External Webster. She had been sitting on a bench in High Wycombe town centre on the 3rd of July 2017 after visiting the grave of her daughter, who had previously died in a collision. On that day, during an argument, Webster retrieved acid from his bag and used it to threaten another man, who then kicked it away. The acid covered Joanne, burning her. She developed sepsis as a result of her injuries, and her family had just moments to say goodbye. She died in hospital on the 14th of July last year. Webster himself had been subject to an acid attack and received injuries to his face just months before he too made the decision to carry acid during this horrific incident. Joanne was a much-loved mother, sister, parent, friend and colleague, and is deeply missed by all those who knew and loved her. The attack was painful and caused untold suffering to her family. I would like to pay tribute to Joanne's relatives for the dignity and support they've shown throughout the investigation, and for so elegantly speaking out against those who carry acid. They don't want anyone else to go through what they have been through, and neither do we. Whilst attacks of this nature are not common in the Thames Valley, this is little comfort to Joanne's family. No sentence will ever go any way towards easing their pain, but I hope they feel it goes some way towards enabling them to have the sense of closure on these utterly tragic events. Yet anyone carrying acid is asking for trouble. Doesn't matter what they say, and it doesn't matter they saying he was abused and he's had a troubling background. That's no excuse. Someone who's got acid and they're going to use it or threaten people with it, that ain't any excuse. And someone to lose their life through it definitely ain't no excuse. He's in prison. He should be in prison where someone like that belongs. That's my feelings. Let me know how you feel about it. Leave comments down below. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave comments below. Oh, don't forget to share and like our videos. Thank you.